Approaching the people now, people are thinking it, why should I come? Great reputation in the market because they're thinking it is not something ठीक है कुछ नया सा है क्यों जाएं तो ये नहीं समझ रहे कि उससे कितने लोगों को support होगा.
Giving as many youngsters a chance because I was there time and I think
somebody who is a good heart and they will do some justice to this. Before we start, one of the best smile ever. So why don't you try for a pageant or something? I'm pretty sure you're going to win.
no, but this is. She stopped the class and she said, "Beta, you," and everyone was looking and I said, "Me." She said, "Yes, beta, you." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Yes, miss." She said, "Beta, you need to wear braces." This is in class 8.
You have a well-established career, a corporate job, right? And through a philanthropist. So what makes you switch from a well-established corporate job to an amazing philanthropist?
My career trajectory actually spans 3 worlds. It's very essential for women in particular to stay financially independent.
Absolutely.
Right?
You have worked across 3 different ecosystems, right? Wherein, so is there a point where did you feel the most of you? Like for example, as a leader, as a team member, or as a human being?
I mean, whatever you do is just a drop in the ocean and take forward this whole train of thought.
Corporate leadership versus government versus NGO. Where is leadership the toughest and why?
Again, you are trying to get random people with no skin in the game. You're trying to get them to buy into a vision.
What does effective communication actually looks like in tough situations for you?
To simplify your message in a way that is palatable to the people listening, as in they understand what you're trying to say.
Absolutely.
And you give them a goal of where you want to go.
So how did you build trust fast within a corporate, NGO and government? Build that trust and honest.
Absolutely. With bills, photos, write up, telling people where the money is being spent. So that is very, very imperative.
You have built networks of 800 plus corporates, okay, and 300 plus NGOs here. What really drives people to contribute? Today's episode is not about leadership titles, it's about leadership impact. What happens when someone moves from boardrooms like Microsoft and Yahoo to transforming lives across 33 districts of Telangana? And what does it really take to lead when nobody responds to you but everybody depends on you? Welcome to Chai with Prachi, where conversations are real and raw and rooted in growth. And today I have someone who doesn't just talk about purpose, she builds her life around it. 2 Times TEDx Speaker, former director, Telangana Social Impact Group, founder of Bring a Smile Foundation with 550 plus volunteers. But beyond all this, a woman who led across corporate, government and grassroots India. Welcome Archana on Chai with Prachi. A very warm welcome to you and we welcome you from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you, Prachi. I think it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to our conversation because you just seem like someone who is really keen on putting good work out there. And I'm glad, today is happening.
That was, before we start, one of the best smile ever. So why don't you try for a pageant or something? I'm pretty sure you're going to win.
No, but this is after braces and, I used to be an ugly duckling in my teenage and it's interesting, right? When you... I still remember this one incident when I was in class attending a geography class and the teacher was waxing eloquent about some particular topic in geography and then she stopped the class and she said, "Beta, you," and everyone was looking and I said, "Me." She said, "Yes, beta, you." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Yes, miss." She said, "Beta, you need to wear braces." This is in class 8. And of course, at that point in time, you just you just take feedback. You don't think much of it.
Correct.
But it's very interesting how that particular skill of mine, which is also to be a little thick-skinned, has helped me tremendously in my career.
But
because,
I'm telling you, you have a fabulous smile and you can ask anybody. I'm very sure when I'm going to put it here, viewers are going to say that the best smile ever we had. So अब शायद probably इसके बाद आपकी नजर उतरवा लो.
Thank you.
Okay. So Acha, I'm very curious to know on this one, if you have to start this up, you have a well-established career, a corporate job, right? And then from a corporate job, an IT professional, to a philanthropist. So, what makes you switch from a well-established corporate job to an amazing philanthropist?
So thank you, Prachi. That's actually, we're starting off on a very apt. We're starting off with an apt question. So I was, I mean, just to give you a perspective, I've spent 14 years in the corporate. Then while I was in the corporate, I started an NGO called Bring a Smile Foundation, and in 2021. February, I pivoted into the government.
Oh.
So my career trajectory actually spans three worlds. So when I was in the corporate, I think a lot of us, I mean, I joined the workforce in 2002. So that was a very, very long time ago. And at that point in time, you just want to give your best to whatever you do. And of course, you are, taken care of financially. So that's important as well. And you look forward to growing in your career. In my case, what happened was in 2012, in a regular conversation with my mother, she asked me if I could be a conduit between the haves and the have-nots, and that planted the seed of this foundation called Bring a Smile Foundation. But I was very clear that I would not give up my corporate job, because I think it's very, very essential for women in particular to stay financially independent.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think I was clear that I want to do something in the development sector. Pata nahi tha at that point that what shape this would take. I just knew I wanted to help in some form, And after my mom planted this idea in my mind, we started this NGO, which essentially what we did was we collected clothes, toys, footwear from apartment communities, and we gave it to underprivileged people in slums and government hospitals. And of course, ऐसा करते करते, they say in Hindi, लोग जुटते गए और कारवां बढ़ता गया. So, the NGO began to grow, Bring a Smile Foundation began to grow, and from 2012 to 2020, I was managing the NGO, holding down a full-time corporate job and managing my daughter. I have one child. So that was actually quite challenging, because for 8 years to be doing it, and I didn't have, parents or in-laws staying with me. So, of course, hired help and all of that. But that entire journey, I mean, the reason why I didn't chuck up my corporate job was because I felt that if I'm doing something for the world, I wanted to be completely philanthropic. I didn't want to sort of, make money out of it, and that's why, the whole idea was just to, do whatever we could while,
Awesome. Amazing. So this reminds me of one very important soft skill to touch base, is that active listening. So usually people think that when somebody is talking, listening is only the active listening. For me, the bucket is a bit different over here, if I have to talk about. So your mom asked you, what do you want to do it? You listen to her, then you listen to your heart. You worked around your brain for the same, and you were very clear that I'm going to listen to people's requirement, their needs, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into that.
I have to actually, I mean, you've raised a very valid point, Prachi, but I also have to say that when my mother mentioned this to me in 2012, when we got started with Bring a Smile Foundation in 2012, she got diagnosed with cancer. So 2013 went by in a blur because we were, taking her for chemotherapy. And in 2014, unfortunately, I lost her to cancer in June. Yeah, thank you. So I've mentioned this in my TEDx talk of how the grief was devastating for me. So initially, when I went full steam with Bring a Smile Foundation, it was because I was so grief-stricken, and for me, it had become a coping mechanism to help others, because I knew exactly what it felt like when you didn't get help.
You didn't get help.
So, I remember that 2014, 15, 16, 17, those years, I was a machine, in terms of managing my job, managing my daughter, running the NGO. And I said, look, we are just going to do whatever we can to help people. Yes, I didn't give up, by the grace of God. But whether it was education, whether it was health, whether it is infrastructure assistance, building toilets, sponsoring fees, paying for some hospital bills. I mean, we just went full steam. And by the grace of God, a lot of good people joined us. So
nice. That's nice. So that way we can say that in this way you have worked across 3 different ecosystems.
Yes.
Right. Wherein, so is there was a point where did you feel the most of you? Like, for example, as a leader, as a team member, or as a human being?
Actually, Prachi, I think to that question, I felt my most authentic self in the development sector, because I think when you work closely with people who don't even get 2 square meals a day, something in you shifts. You realize that we come from a place of privilege, and pata chalta hai that. I mean, whatever you do is just a drop in the ocean.
Absolutely.
So I think that kind of sort of spurred me on, and I think I was very fortunate to also meet a like-minded group of people. Your tribe of people, like they say, the ones who wanted to also step up and help. So on the one hand, we had Bring a Smile Foundation growing, and on the other hand, I also created a network of NGO founders. So WhatsApp had just begun taking off in 2014 or so.
Right.
So
Absolutely, I
the
remember.
it was easier to actually kind of compartmentalize people and take forward this whole train of thought of trying to help in some
Them.
form.
So I think anybody being a human being, they are a team member or a leader only when they started taking doing something for the people, and they started thinking in that way, that
Yeah.
being a leader, how it is important for them to help others, to lead them, not only by being authoritative,
Huh.
not only being by commanding,
No,
but by being helping them.
Actually, just
By taking them through you.
leading by example. I mean, I
Right.
think what I have realized is that some of us come forward and sort of slip into leadership positions when we know that there are some of us who need some sort of direction.
True that.
So that's how I think my leadership journey began, like that, because I mean, I was clear that I want to help, and then when I sounded this idea off with people, I realized that they also were aligned to that,
True that.
goal or ideal.
That's why it says
And-
true leader is a people man. Everybody cannot be a people manager. They can be product manager. They cannot be a people manager. True leader is the one who will take his team, everybody together,
Along,
not thinking
yes.
that I am at this position
yeah,
and I'm going to dictate them and being like a dictator.
You have to be,
So we
you have to
cannot
be,
do that.
Yeah, you have to be very inclusive in your mind
True
and
that.
take people along. And my late mother used to say, people want to help, they just don't know how to.
Exactly, absolutely right.
And I saw that,
right.
and I realized that, since everybody wants to sort of pitch in some form, this whole vision that we had of trying to be conduits of help was coming to life courtesy these people.
So
and
how did it feel to you being all together, all the three at place?
You mean all the three worlds?
Yeah, like as a leader, as a team member, as a human being, how does it feel to you?
See,
three different ecosystems altogether.
Yeah, but then, when I was, say, for example, when I was in the NGO and we were running Bring a Smile Foundation, we still continue to run Bring a Smile Foundation in 2026. I think, to me, a leader is somebody who walks the talk. So if you roll up your sleeves and get started with work, बाकी लोग खुद से आपके उस endeavor में जुट जाएंगे. So that's what I saw, that, I mean, so I use the term leader and team member interchangeably, because I have been a team member. I've let other people lead as well, wherever an opportunity arose. And at the end of the day, you want to be remembered as a reasonably good human being.
Absolutely. That matters the most.
That matters really in the ultimate analysis of life. That does.
And I'm pretty sure you are an amazing human being. We all know about it. And I'm pretty sure that you have been like great leader and a team member.
My daughter won't agree. My teenage daughter is probably, nodding her head in disbelief right now.
That is it. कहते ना घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, sir.
So if I have to ask you, corporate leadership versus government versus NGO. Where is leadership the toughest and why?
Again, good question. I would think that the corporate roles are well defined, right? Because it's an organization or an entity, there are roles that come with your job. With your job description, you get a defined role. But I would think to be a leader in the development sector or the NGO space is a little tougher, because you are trying to get random people with no skin in the game. You're trying to get them to buy into a vision. So your leadership will be tested, because it boils down to outcomes, right? Because whatever you're saying, if there is action taken on that particular theme, then you are making progress.
Making progress.
So I would think the development sector, it's a little more challenging. And in the government, I think the good thing about being in the government is, so when you're working in the government gives you scale, right? So you can execute larger projects.
A lot of support from them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the when you go and introduce yourself at different forums and they know you're from the government and you've established yourself by then, so then I think doors open faster. So leadership there again. I mean, I would think. I mean, to answer your question, out of the three spaces, I would think the NGO sector is where your leadership skills really get tested.
So empathy also is something which plays very important role here.
Totally, absolutely.
Right. This is. I think this is one of the greatest skill or very important skill which we should remember and to have in all the sectors.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But then, how does one build empathy? I think empathy comes when you've been tested yourself.
True that.
Right. When you're when you've been in a crisis and when you've actually when you have your back towards a wall and you might be in a state of hopelessness as well, but I think those experiences push you to understanding other humans better and their challenges better.
True that. So I've been in corporate like more than 10 years. I have anyways of like, though I have not opened an NGO right now, but I keep doing that and have a dream to do that open up very soon. So probably we can think of not only doing it alone but joining hands, because that's how collaboration works.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So that's what I think it's toughest all over. But yes, running an NGO and doing something with the people and taking others together with you is the toughest thing. And as you rightly mentioned, this is something which we should cherish it and think about it, that how we can do it better and best and join our hands together.
Absolutely. You have to be conscious about the fact that there are others who there are lives in which you're making a difference, but there are also others who are looking to you for direction. So it is about taking that.
Absolutely. Great. This conversation is going very, intense and constructive. So I'm laughing about it. Great. Okay. So everyone talks about communication, right? Communication, and then having a proper conversations and all. What does effective communication actually looks like in tough situations for you?
Okay, what does effective communication in tough situations look like?
I mean, there was a scenario when you were doing your job, or especially like take the current scenario.
Yeah.
So when something doesn't happen in a proper communicated way.
So I would think, effective communication is when you are able to simplify your message in a way that is palatable to the people listening, as in they understand what you're trying to say.
Absolutely.
And you give them a goal of where you want to go, right? With also actionable points of how to get there. So effective communication is that, because at the end of the day, when you are communicating, you also have a desired outcome in mind, right? And you want everybody to get onto the same page. So I think it is not about heavy jargon and keeping it very very intellectually
fancy words or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, I know a lot of people have very mixed opinions about this author, right? Mr. Chetan Bhagat. But if you read his books, what he's done is he's just simplified the English language for the man in UP or Bihar, and that's why he's been a best-selling author.
I have read all his books and there is no fancy tough words.
Yeah.
You are able to realize, read, understand each and every word out there.
Correct, and that's what effective communication is about too, right? I mean, you have to be able to reach your audience in a manner that is comprehensible to them.
True that. And whether it's vocal or verbal, it has to be effective, because the people should be able to understand. You should be able to communicate properly. They should be able to receive it properly.
Absolutely. And finally work towards a common goal.
Very well said, Archana. Very well said. I think we should take that note of it. So definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, on this, that makes me ask you something related again to your NGO and connecting with the government. So how did you build trust fast within a corporate, NGO and government?
So Prachi, I think trust...
This is something which is very crucial, I guess.
But yeah, absolutely crucial. But trust can't be built fast. Building trust actually takes there's a slow pace to it, right? And I think trust takes time. So one line answer to that for me would be transparency. Right? You just have to be transparent in whatever you do, because that way then the observer on the other end will know that you're being authentic and you're being true to yourself, right?
True.
So building trust, in my understanding, when I was in the government leading CSR for the Telangana government, we raised 26 crore rupees in 2 years, where
Wow.
the corporates gave that money to NGOs who were the implementation partners across education, health, environment, women empowerment, upskilling, and these were all government projects. But not a rupee came to the government. All the money went directly from the corporate into the NGOs.
Okay.
So because there was transparency, I would
True.
get calls, in the course of work, telling me that, look, we have X CR rupees, for example, 1 crore rupees or 2 crore rupees, and we want to do some CSR work. Where do we do it? And they took our word seriously because we were very transparent from the beginning.
Sure.
And the same goes for the NGO. For Bring a Smile Foundation, even now, 14 years later, we started this NGO in 2012, and now we are in 2026. We let donors know of where their money is being spent. With a quarterly email every 3 months, we send out an email.
So build that trust and honesty.
Absolutely. With bills, photos, write up, telling people where the money is being spent. So that is very, very imperative, in a journey.
It takes time. It cannot be done just like quickly कि आज join किया and then कल हो गया. एक दो अच्छे projects कर लिए and हो गया. No, it's like it's you. I'm sure you must be have a lot of hurdles down the line for that. Previously what you have done so far, somebody from challenge, oh what she is doing अच्छा खासा काम था, क्यों छोड़ के ये कर रही है, right? क्यों कर रही है, सही में है कि नहीं है? So that has made you stand here. That has made you, the people love the trust, transparency, what you mentioned, and that has bring you all together so far. So I mean, kudos to you for that. Seriously, looking forward to it, and you are such an inspiration that we don't have words for it.
Thank you, Prachi. But I think all of us actually have it in us to. So inspire, the word is such a heavy duty word, but I was going to say all of us have it in us to inspire other people, because I think if we are true to what we believe in, all the other things follow. They're like वो बोलते हैं ना English में. So these are just the byproducts of what you do. So if you're sure of the core, you go with blinkers on and go full on to do what you have to do. All the other things follow.
वो मछली की आँख कहते हैं ना.
हाँ, exactly. Like Arjun, I joke that I feel like Arjun sometimes because I can only see the eye of the bird.
True.
Or eye of the fish, right?
True that.
So that is.
So the people who are multitasker also, they need to have that up.
Yeah.
They need to have that up. There's nothing wrong in doing multiple things, but you need to be focused.
Yes.
In all the perspectives.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
True that. Okay. Now we comes to some numbers, which is giving me a goosebump. But I really want to ask you this. You have built networks of 800 plus corporates, okay, and 300 plus NGOs.
Correct.
What really drives people to contribute?
Okay, wow. So people will come forward and contribute if they know that the final beneficiary is getting help. So when they are convinced that what you're telling them, you will end up walking the talk, and the underprivileged people at the end, or the weaker sections of society, will get help by their intervention, people will step up and help. So that has been, it's a very simple, straightforward, premise, because at the end of the day, people want to give their money to causes which will make an improvement. I mean, because of their intervention, there will be an improvement in the lives of the underprivileged.
Because expectations will also increase. Hope will increase. That's the right word, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's important that, if you're clear about how their intervention is going to make a difference, people will step up and help.
People will step up. True that. Absolutely. I think so-called NGO, मतलब लोगों के दिमाग में जो है कि लोग NGO सिर्फ खोल देते हैं. You are a right example for them that it is not just for the name's sake.
Absolutely.
लोग हैं जो करते हैं, हम हैं जो कर रहे हैं, आप हो जो कर रहे हो लोगों. So people should take that inspiration, and if somebody is really interested and want to do something good for the society, I think they should join hands and do it with a very positive and a true mindset.
Also, Prachi, see, it boils down to intent. Like in Hindi, they call it niyat. Right?
True that.
Why would a person open an NGO? They do it ideally to serve a larger populace.
True that.
So I think if you are very clear about why you're doing what you're doing, and you're not getting stuck with, इस ये करने से मुझे ये मिलेगा, then I think that's the way to go.
You said rightly, नियत. अगर आपकी
yeah.
नियत है किसी चीज की और
intent.
अच्छी नियत है,
हाँ.
आपके पास नहीं भी है तो भी आप अच्छा करोगे, आपके पास है तो भी आप अच्छा करोगे.
So किसी ने मुझे सोशल मीडिया पे लिखा था, किसी ने लिखा था कि Archana, I really like how you have designed your career, and you know that line made me halt in my tracks because it made me think and made me realize that no, I did not design it.
True that.
You know what? All I did was stayed true to what I believed in and did it with passion. You know, so when you actually infuse passion in what you want to do, the other things will follow.
Absolutely.
Prachi, that's my understanding.
Absolutely.
That's my experience.
मैं इसी नोट पे एक चीज शेयर करती हूँ. तो I am somebody who like meeting people, who like genuinely helping people, whatever manner I can. It's not that कि बहुत कुछ है आपको हर वक्त spend करना है.
Correct.
But there was someone who said, क्या दिखावा है यार, जब देखो तुम दिखाते रहते कि तुमको ये करना है, तुमको वो करना है, या तुमको दूसरों के लिए कुछ करना है, या यू नो तुम इतना ज्यादा ना परफेक्ट और आदर्श कोई नहीं होता है.
अच्छा,
तो ये जब आप बोल रहे हो ना डिजाइन वाली बात, तब आ रहा है कि भाई लाइफ होती है, आप अंदर से ही ऐसे होते हो. जो टीवी में देखते हो, जो आप ऑन स्क्रीन देखते हो, वो रियलिटी से ही पिक होके जाती है.
करेक्ट. And also, see, there are two parts to this. एक कहावत है, you know, हिंदी में यथा दृष्टि, actually संस्कृत में यथा दृष्टि तथा सृष्टि. So the way you see the world is what you actually infer from it. You know, so if you're looking at the good in the world, your world will sort of manifest in that way. And I've been told this also कि you know इतना ढंडोरा पीट रहे हो about the work that you are doing, but let's get real. Today, in today's world, everybody is on social media. If you are able to post a story on some good that is being done and that's being amplified on social media, someone somewhere will get inspired, or someone somewhere will actually do the same in his or her area. So that is the whole objective.
अच्छा जी, अगर देखने वाले को देखना है तो वो पॉजिटिव भी देखेगा, नहीं देखना है तो वो नेगेटिव भी देखेगा. हम एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए कोई चीज देखते हैं, उससे उसको किसी को कुछ नेगेटिव उठाना है, दिल पे ठेठा हो गई. और जब तक आप बोलोगे नहीं, जो लोग कुछ करना चाहते हैं वो कैसे जुड़ेंगे आपके साथ? बिकॉज़ इट कैन नॉट बी जस्ट वन मैन आर्मी.
करेक्ट, एब्सोल्युटली. तो पता तो चले लोगों को कि ऐसे भी हो रहा है,
ऐसा कुछ होता है.
एग्जैक्टली. सो दैट्स द होल ऑब्जेक्टिव.
Awesome. I think I am getting charged up for this. Okay, you know, I'm really curious to know, and I'm really, you know, from bottom of my heart, I really wanted to know about it. Can you share some incidents with us which has really left you speechless, tears in your eyes, or probably left you, you know, given that impression to you in your heart that what is happening in the society and we should really do something for it?
Thank you, Prachi. Again, a very valid question, because I think all of us at some point in time have been witness to incidents that make us think or make us wonder where we are headed. One was, I of course led CSR for the state of Telangana, and Telangana is a fabulous state, but in some of the districts, right, I mean there are 33 districts in Telangana. I have been to 20 of them personally. In one of the districts I had taken a corporate, and what they did was a corporate sponsored building of a drainage in one of the government schools.
Okay.
We went there for the inaugural of this you know, this particular infrastructural project, and I noticed that the principal and the IMA is the lady who, you know, sweeps the school. They had tears in their eyes, you know, when we began talking to them, and they said that, Madam, for 7 years, the first floor of this building, a window of a classroom overlooked this open drain, and the stench was unbearable. But for 7 years, children have studied under these circumstances. And now with the intervention of this corporate and the infrastructure improvement that was made, our children can finally study, you know, in peace and under improved conditions. So that came as such a shock to me, because, you know, I mean, to be going to school day in and day out, and to be studying in circumstances that are not favorable or not conducive to learning, I think it made me realize that there's so much more that we need to do at the grassroots level, right? And that was one incident. And another district in our state, when I had gone there, we'd gone to a girls' hostel, a girls' school come hostel. And I went to the washroom of this particular hostel, and imagine there are 4 Indian toilets facing another 4 Indian toilets. And I was absolutely aghast to see that there were no doors.
Oh my God.
So, when we talk about putting people on the moon and sending missions to space, I think what we need to keep in mind that such a big percentage in India's student population is studying in conditions that are not even bare minimum. Okay. So we need to do so much more at the grassroots level, for the next generation, because they are the future of the country.
This is giving me goosebumps, honestly, when I'm hearing this.
So there's the whole experience has just taught me that more people need to come together, more organizations, more civil society organizations, the government. We need to have a very thriving collaboration.
This is something very basic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something very basic.
Absolutely, and the right to education is a fundamental right for children. So I think there's a lot more to be
kudos to
done.
you. I have no words for this. I mean, how much ever I praise you, how much ever I respect you for this is less.
But it's
what
thanks
you did
to
is commendable.
Prachi, but it's also thanks to corporates who have leaders who are
Absolutely.
seeing the
Absolutely.
difference their intervention can make. And I remember reading this line somewhere ki Mera Bharat Mahan, and somebody wrote in brackets banana padega.
True that.
So I think it is an ongoing journey. It is an everyday thing, and I think we all need to pitch in whatever way
100%.
possible.
So through this medium, if I can thank those corporates, I can thank those organizations who are associated with you for doing this. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and all of us for doing this up. And if we can take anywhere part in the future, please let me know. Though we keep doing nearby, but this is something which is really, really required, and no words for it. So thank you so much, Archana ji. That is really, really good.
Thank you, Prachi.
मतलब शब्द नहीं है मेरे पास, but बहुत बहुत बड़ी बात है ये करने के लिए.
And thankfully a lot of good people have come together. But yes, effort तो जारी रहेगा.
अच्छे लोग भी.
अच्छे लोग, of course.
अच्छे लोग भी, बिल्कुल. So on this note, the last probably part of the conversation and the podcast we have. So it's a quick rapid fire. What we have. So you have to pick it up. Okay. No. इधर उधर का probably thing.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. But something is really touching your heart, or you want to share that, most welcome. Either of the, like for example, if I have to tell you water or tea, you're going to pick one.
Yeah.
So there'll be like 7-8 pointers like that.
Sure.
We'll pick it up.
Okay.
If you feel like any one you would really want to elaborate, we're most welcome. But otherwise, it's a rapid fire.
Sounds good.
Okay. So corporate or grassroots?
Grassroots.
Okay, lovely. Influence or authority?
Influence, for sure.
Okay. Tough boss or kind leader?
I think a kind leader who can take some tough decisions. That's
interrelated.
That's what I would sort of sandwich in there. A kind leader who can take some tough calls.
I understand. When I'm leading my team and explaining them as a leader, so I have to be a little strict on that.
Correct.
But sometimes I have to be kind for them also, that they'll take care of them. So it goes hand in hand. Agreed. Okay. One word your team would use for you.
I think networker. I take networking very seriously.
I agree to it.
I joke that sometimes my friends have told me, and people in the NGO also have told me that whether it's a security guard to a film star, my phone book will have an entire range of the Uber wala to the not Uber wala, but to senior leadership.
Amazing. Okay, one soft skill everyone pretends to have.
I think one soft skill that people pretend to have, maybe people claim more than necessary that they are non-judgmental, but I think judgment kahin na kahin aa jata hai. Because I got told once, about 10 years ago when I was running the NGO, I was told, why did you have a child when all you wanted to do was start an NGO? And this came to me from a woman. And I was so taken aback because I didn't see the question coming, and I was like, what
Why this was?
Where is this question coming from? And I was just taken aback. So I think sometimes, of course, it takes all kinds to make the world. So, when we spoke about empathy, I think some people probably have not thought things through, or maybe have not been through different experiences that make them a little more sensitive to,
what they're saying. And I think along with this judgmental also, everybody think they're knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, the whole I, me, myself wala. Agar ego aa gaya na, Prachi, then it's all downhill.
This is something which people think hame to pata hi hai. But I think it's good if they have. But always should be open to learn.
Absolutely, so important to learn. And I remember telling someone this. So I used to be a quizzer in school and college. So what quizzing taught me was I got very comfortable with 3 words, and those 3 words were I don't know. So to be able to say that and on whatever forum you are, because you're not expected to know everything, and if you don't know, you don't know. You just have to be, straight up about it.
True that. So, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So last, one habit that make you successful.
I think just showing up, because if you're consistent, everybody talks about it, right? You just show up every day, do the same thing, whether it is exercise, whether it is, eating less, whether it is, making sure that you are there for, for people, showing up actually will, works and will pay dividends in the long run.
True that. Last one. One thing your team learn to resent rather.
One thing that
your team unlearned recently, or they learned recently, anything?
I think I have learned to stop saying yes. I mean, when or let's put it the other way. I think I have learned to say no more often now, because I think it's a challenge for a lot of us to be able to say no. And I've seen this more so with a lot of people in the development sector.
I am someone like that.
So you understand that, right? I mean, I think it's necessary to say no a little more often, and you're not coming out of a space of malice or misintent. You're just coming from a space of asserting what needs to be done at your end, and you can't say yes to everything, because then something or the other is bound to suffer. So
absolutely,
be able to say no.
So on this note, probably we have end to our today's episode podcast, but it was an amazing feeling and a pleasure for you being here with us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time and coming all the way. So on this note, was not just a conversation, it was a masterpiece altogether, and I am thrilled and really happy for having Archana ji with us and sharing so much of insightful information about and clearing the doubts what actually NGOs mean and what you should do it for the people. So Archana ji, you have been really an inspiration. I'm really telling this, and I really mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much
for being here.
Thank you. I've had a really nice time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.